Alright guys, we're back doing another kind of ghost-like tour for you, this time of Castle Rock. That's why we're shooting the rock. It's me and Alan. We're just going to be walking around kind of giving you some little hot spots, and more or less this will probably just be an episode 1. There is a lot of kind of paranormal history in Castle Rock, so I hope you guys enjoy this. Alright, so we are at a branch of Plum Creek because we're going to tell you a little story. It's something that us kids growing up in the Douglas County area kind of grew up on. It's our little Bigfoot story from way back when.
Alright, now we're down here, as Keegan said, on a branch of Plum Creek here. We're going to tell you a little bit about the Beast of Plum Creek. Plum Creek Monster. There's a couple other names for it, but it's kind of a local lore we have here based on the area of this very creek right here. Now, on April 30th, 1954 was supposedly the first sighting of this Plum Creek beast. Now, we're not sure, we're having a hard time tracking down where on the creek it exactly started from. It definitely had to be in one of the older parts of town, and right here it's not nearly old enough. I always envisioned it being down south of the stream a little bit, but come to talking about this, talking to some of the older folks that have been around town for, you know, generations and things like that, I actually heard a really interesting story that the Beast of Plum Creek was actually created by one of the kids' moms. Now, the reason one of the kids' moms came up with this story is because the kids kept sneaking out at night, going down, playing in the creek, hanging out with their friends, doing what kids do. And, you know, back in the 50s, you didn't have your cell phone and your iPod and all that other fancy stuff, so you went down to the creek, you caught fish and frogs and did your thing. So this mom actually started the story of the Beast of Plum Creek. Now, we, for obvious reasons, can't track that down, but it's definitely an interesting take, especially for us, being locals here, that it's such a hard thing to find facts on. But it's definitely one of those things that is more of a legend or a myth than anything that we can base any kind of hard evidence or facts or video footage on, anything that we can really sink our teeth into. And we thought it'd just be really cool to bring you guys down here and show you what it was like down here.
So as you can see here, we're nearing kind of like the old downtown. They do some like cool light stuff over the street. But as you see, this is rhyolite right here, and it might be one of the main causes that we have some hauntings in Castle Rock, because rhyolite can trap the energy. And that's one thing that was really big here in Castle Rock. It wasn't gold like during the gold rush, but it was up there.
What else is cool? I don't know if you can see it on the corner of the rhyolite building over there, that little sign. I don't know if you can make out that symbol over there. The stonemason symbol.
So right here, snuggled between this office construction site and these what look like buildings are actually parking garages. The Old Stone Church. It's one of the more haunted or purported haunted locations in Castle Rock. Actually, if you go right on inside those doors there, they have newspaper clippings where they've been in the newspapers for being haunted. Now it is a restaurant establishment, so you definitely have to get permission to ghost hunt or do anything here. But as far as people in Castle Rock go, this is like their #1 place that I think I've heard from everybody that they say is haunted.
And again, notice the rhyolite stone of the building.
Yeah, rhyolite, for a lot of these buildings you'll see us talk about today, is like the main construction material. But onwards. Well, one of the newer buildings in Castle Rock, I doubt it's haunted. But if you guys have worked here or something and you have stories, you let us know in the comments below. It's kind of a neat looking building. But up here is our goal for this side of town. It's a little bit bigger of a walk than Cripple Creek, but I think we're doing okay. You can kind of see some not super old housing, but just some of the older styles here. It's kind of cool. See, right here is where we're going, or where we want to show you at least, is the Castle Rock Museum. It really has kind of a pretty sweet history. So this is the Castle Rock Museum. As you can see, it was founded in 1996. It actually, as you can read by the sign, was the old railroad depot, built in 1875, and it was actually on the other side of town. They actually had to move this on a big flatbed trailer over here, and it's not obviously a small building, but look at it again. What's the building materials? Could Rhyolite be at the factor of why Castle Rock is as haunted as it is? But here's its entrance. You can see they have it kind of laid out how it would have been, probably with a nice little bench people could have waited on for the trains and stuff, but right there probably would have been a ticket window.
And as Keegan was saying, when they originally had this building up by the first set of railroad tracks, it was actually relatively close to our original feed store that we have up here, which is now a feed and what they call the barn, which is kind of like a antiquities dealer and just kind of a knick-knack shop that's been built up over the years. Actually, I believe it's inside the museum. They have a few pictures of it being developed over, 3 to 4 decades. It just started out as a little tiny facility up to what it's been today. And this was actually moved down from up there, and unfortunately we're kind of down by the highway now, so you got a lot of noise to deal with, but still a cool building.
So we're gonna make our way, actually just on the other side of the street is one of our more favorite investigations. This is the Castle Rock Chamber of Commerce. And there's a little bunny running. Alright, so some more kind of cool little architecture here. Not too old, as you can tell by that, but I mean, you can see Castle Rock's growing. There's a very modernist building right there. But this is where we're going right here. Castle Rock Chamber of Commerce. Now, we investigated this one back in 2011. So let's go check it out. Alright, so this is the Castle Rock Chamber of Commerce. Geez, what can we not say about it? I mean, this was a really, really fun investigation. We'll go up here, kind of film. Here's some, names. Yeah, Castle Rock Chamber of Commerce. Once again, another historic landmark. It's also known as Victoria's house. She was the original owner, and one of at least the 2 spirits that we came in contact with on our investigation. As you can tell again, what's the building material, Alan?
Again, as a lot of these older buildings in Castle Rock, it's made out of rhyolite. And originally, as Keegan said, this was a residence, not an office space as it is today. So it does hold a lot of that original energy, and that window up there leads to the upstairs where the original bedrooms were.
Yeah, and this one, I mean, made a pretty big impact on us back in 2011. Actually, if you go on inside and turn to your right, you'll see our plaque hanging out on the wall. It was one of the first ones we started putting plaques up at, but
it was actually my first investigation with Culz.
Yeah. I mean, and in the first book we did with Erica, Ghost, Demons, and Dolls, this was one of the first stories brought up. I mean, Alan had a really cool encounter in the basement over here. I mean, can you just tell us kind of briefly what you encountered in the basement?
Now, briefly, I don't know if Keegan wants to look over here in the corner of the building, and I'll kind of talk to you about it, but just underneath in the basement over here, they didn't actually have basements in a lot of these original buildings. So they had like a tiny cellar area. So they built a basement onto the cellar, and the cellar used to actually roll right out here into the street, and it would come up in the street here. And when they redid the street and redid the building and all that, they blocked off the stairway to the cellar and obviously put the street in here. Well, me and two of the other investigators at the time were downstairs, and you could clearly hear like wet rubber boots coming from the back where the sump area is, which is like a well in the basement, more or less, that holds all the water that leaks into the basement. And it sounded clear as day like rubber boots walked around the corner where we were at, from the stairs that were originally where the cellar would be, down through the original part where the basement would have been, the cellar part, back up the tiny stairs onto the main level of the building. And what was really bizarre about the experience was, not only was my main first one, again with the group of pools, but all of our equipment died simultaneously, which was super bizarre, and it was so clear to everybody's ears, and it got bitter ice cold, and it was kind of late summer when we did it, and it was still relatively warm. And we're about late summer now, and it's what, 8:30 right now.
It's 80 degrees at least.
It's still over 80 degrees, so it's definitely warm. And it was so cold that I could see my breath.
Yeah. I mean, what was cool, I mean, we found out at least that there's a male spirit that we deducted is most likely Victoria's father. He's the one that actually built the house. But upstairs over here is where I kind of had my big experience. And that was, hold on, we'll get around the corner, give you a little bit better view again. Yeah, so we were upstairs, and right here's a room, and then the hallway's right behind it, and there's what used to be the old bathroom. It's now kind of storage and stuff. But we were upstairs, me and Josh, one of our other old investigators, and we were just kind of talking, doing our EVP session and stuff. And the door opened by itself, so of course we were trying to debunk it. We try to debunk as much as possible before we even think it might be a ghost. That way, whatever we give you is legit. And, you know, we jumped up and down, we banged the wall, we pushed on the door even, and because of how it was built, and now that there's carpet up there, you really actually have to kind of put some force on it to get it to open. And we got to the point where we could be like, hey, can you open the door? And it would open. And as we were leaving, it was kind of funny because everyone was like, hey, we're leaving. It's your last chance to push Keegan down the stairs. And that's when it opened the last time. But yeah, I mean, the Chamber of Commerce, we'll put a link in the description to our evidence videos. And then we'll put a link to Alan's story and Erica Gammons' book. That way, if you guys want to know more, you guys can know more. There's Cast Rock. As you've seen, at least this year too, we've done it a couple times. Probably has Rhyolite up there as well.
Well, and there's a lot of lore that kind of circulates around the rock anyway. Again, a lot of it is just urban legend stuff that you hear, you know, throughout people, and who knows how much of it's been diluted over the years and things like that, or where it even originated from. And like Keegan said, there's probably a lot of rhyolite out there that holds a lot of energy anyway. But aside from that, it's been said to be like a tribal meeting ground for a lot of the Native Americans. And there's actually another thing that I've heard of from some of the other older folks, again, that have been here forever. There is a spot on the rock, supposedly, that's a small cave. And once a year, once every so many years, it opens at a certain time of the year, and a lot of the locals refer to it as the Witch's Kitchen.
Yeah, so there's that. We haven't had too great a look. We're gonna try to cross the street real quick and not get run over as we talk. Yeah, we've done it twice now. The first time it was super cold out, The last time we went, it was pretty calm. We did get at least one decent EVP. I'll link that. But it sounded almost like a guy carabining down. Just that sound of the rope, and then you could hear the sand move, and just like that sound of carabiners. Being a rock climber and a mountain climber, I know that sound. That's what it sounded like. And then on Andrew's EVP, so on a separate one, you hear it actually walk over and say something. It's kind of hard to decipher, but it's really kind of interesting. And we'll go in more detail. But I mean, that one, like Alan said, could be just a lot of urban legend. I mean, people have died up on the rock. It's dangerous, and people will free climb, and it gets windy pretty quick up there. Yeah, this building is not haunted. I mean, I'd probably say that, and it is, but I have not heard anything. It's brand new. We're going to a place which is kind of an interesting location for us. We've never investigated at it. It's kind of been our unofficial town meeting place. It's called the Hideaway Barn Grill. It used to be the old town center in a way. People would come to get information here well before it was a restaurant. And I mean, now the Chamber of Commerce just up the hill has taken over kind of that role for Castle Rock. But yeah, it's kind of been said to be haunted. My mom's actually known an employee that used to work here that did experience kind of weird feelings and weird stuff. It's now a restaurant and private residence up top. And the first time I really came here, outside of it being Pablo's when I was really little, was when it was Jerry Street Bar and Grill. And just going into the building, I could feel a spirit, and that's when I asked the old owner, and she actually confirmed that, yeah, some of the employees did experience like spiritual beings like pushing glasses and stuff around the bar. So that's that one. And Castle Rock, so this will probably end part one. There's a lot more history now than what we thought, but it gives you guys kind of a brief overview of some of Castle Rock's kind of more haunted locations. So I hope you enjoy that and join us for part two. I guess we're live. We'll tour a little bit more during the nighttime, show you a little bit more around. There's Castle Rock in this also new building. Castle Rock likes building these buildings. So now we're by the Douglas County School District building. It actually used to be the old high school after Cantrell. Cantrell you'll probably see on our second video. It's a little bit further up the road. But yeah, it's purported to be haunted. Schools are harder to get in for us than other buildings, but yeah, this was the old high school. It took over for Cantrell. It's hard to see with all the trees. We'll try to get you some more. Apparently there's a Jurassic Park Jeep just chilling out. Oh, there it is. Chilling out. Now we're walking up towards the Castle Café here. And like I said, there's the lights that we were talking about earlier, but the Castle Café here is supposed to be haunted as well. And once again, like most of the old buildings, just like Cantrell, which we probably won't get in this video, but it's made of rhyolite. There's where an old door used to be.
And what you guys are missing, this place smells amazing, like smoked brisket.
It's making my mouth water. I said I wasn't hungry, but now that we walked by this one, might have to go get some food. Right over there. It's kind of hard to see, but that kind of triangle-shaped building was one of the old fire stations a long time ago. Alright, we're gonna make a run for it. The B&B Cafe, also supposedly haunted. If you go in there, there's pretty cool. You can see bullet holes and that kind of stuff from a shootout. Obviously, we've had a group picture at this Veterans Monument here, which is directly across from the Castle Cafe, which they really kept a lot of the cool lighting I'm really giving it the character it needs. The B&B supposedly haunted. And maybe we'll do another video. We just want to give you some of these because we forgot them on our walk towards the chamber. Right here's the kind of where the old courthouse was. I mean, it's not the courthouse now, but this is the building that replaced it after in the 70s when the old one, which was actually really pretty beautiful architecture, burned down. It too was made of rhyolite, and they didn't know it was combustible during a prison escape. And so when they lit fire, it took the whole building down, but that's what replaced it. As far as I know, nothing outside of people thinking it might be haunted because it was a jail at one point. But yeah, downtown. Alan actually has done some car shows up here. You can catch Alan's car up here during the summer. But now, truthfully, this is the end. So join us next time.